Hi, my name is Rick Snyder, and I'm here to show you guys how you need to go about building your model rocket for summer school out of this world program. Okay, let's go over the materials that you guys have real quick. First of all, this is what is called your body tube. This is the main portion of the rocket that you guys are going to be building everything around. Then what you have are your couplers. Most likely we won't be using the couplers as we've changed it up a little bit, so you won't need these this year. Then you have what is called your motor housing, okay? This is just another body tube that you're going to shorten down in size, and this is going to be the part that holds the rocket motor. Then you're going to have your nose cone. Your nose cone, of course, is one of the primary features of the actual rocket. Your parachute. These are your launch lugs. Now notice there's multiple ones in here. I will be showing you what you need to do. This is for an entire class, but I'll show you what you can exactly do with each one of those. This package houses what is called the centering rings, and the centering rings are very important. There's more than one group that's going to have these in there, so this is what you'll be using. I'll show you how to set this up. These things are very important. Here are your fins, your rocket fins. This is going to be one per group. And then this is your nylon fire retardant connecting wire. This is the connecting wire that connects your nose cone to your body tube. Okay, and last but not least, you will need a rocket motor. You'll only need one of these and some super glue. Okay. First thing that you want to do is you're going to go ahead and take the smaller tube and you're going to cut it down to approximately adult fist size. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and then I'm going to cut it down to about that size. Sorry to launch that right at you. Okay, you're done with the other piece. You can get multiple pieces of this for each group. So you cut them all kind of the same size. You just have to really kind of make sure that it's about the width of a fist of an adult. Okay, so that's all that you're going to need for that. All right, here's what you're going to do next. You're going to go ahead and each group is going to get their own centering ring pack. So you notice that it comes in sets of 2. You give this to one group. This is probably one of the most important parts of the actual constructing of the rocket. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take the centering ring and you're going to put the centering ring exactly even. This is the most important thing. It doesn't matter which way you put it. It doesn't matter which side you put it on. But whatever side, notice I'm not in the middle. You're going to put it on one side. And then you're going to go ahead and super glue it. Okay? To get that super glue open, all you've got to do is puncture this. There we go, we're punctured now. And you want to make sure that you actually super glue this pretty well, but the primary thing is you want to make sure that it is perfectly straight. So go ahead, put some super glue around there. Be careful, this stuff squirts out exceptionally fast. And you're going to let that dry. Okay? So, whenever you look at this, you want to make sure that it is perfectly straight. So there you go. That's a key component right there. All right, go ahead and cap your super glue. Okay. So after that dries, what you're going to do then is you're going to go ahead and you're going to put this up inside your tube. Now this is the bottom of your rocket, okay? So the primary thing that you're going to do here is you're going to slide that in, and again you want to make sure that it is perfectly straight on the inside. Now I want to take and I want to push this thing all the way in there so that the bottom of the motor housing is actually flush. Okay? So, what you're looking at in there is there's your actual motor housing. Now, notice mine's a little crooked. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that it is perfectly straight. And that looks like a pretty good job there. After you do that, then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and make sure you super glue this in really well. Okay? So, we're going to take and make sure that we've super glued that thing in really straight. The bottom of it should be flush. That is a key component right there. You can leave it out a little bit if you want, but the primary thing is it has got to be in there straight. Okay? Just like that. There you go. So now you're glued in there pretty well. You straighten that out. All right. Okay. The next thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead and say, now I'm done with the bottom portion. And now what you want to do is you want to take your fins. And now here's the primary thing about your fins is your fins have got to be equally spaced. Okay? So that is a primary thing. So what I would do is I would measure around the edge, and of course let that dry on the inside before you even attempt to start doing this. You're going to take and measure around the actual tube itself because you want these things equally spaced. And what you can do is there's two ways you can put the fins on. You can put the fins on so that they are like this, or you can put the fins on so that they are like this. It's however you want to do your fin design. Now, of course, you can manipulate these fins a little bit, but the primary thing is you're going to want to make sure that they're flush up against the bottom and then they're equally spaced. So we would go ahead and glue those on. Now, whenever you glue those on, you want to make sure you hold them straight. Notice that they must be straight, okay? And you're going to hold them there for a while. Now, so that I can shorten this video, we'll just go ahead and kind of leave it just like that. Notice how we're straight up the back side of it. This is a little off. Okay, so there's how you want to do that. And then you want to put the next one on and the next one. You should have 3 fins put on. That is primary. You've got to put 3 fins on. Okay? All right. Next step, after you get your 3 fins on, what you're going to do is you're then going to go ahead and put on your launch lug. The launch lug, again, you're going to have one launch lug can be used for multiple groups. Going back to the fins, after you put all these fins on, you probably do want to touch it up along the edges. You want to make sure that your fins are glued on really, really well. Okay, so you'll hit another shot right there and hit another shot right there with actual glue. All right, here's the thing. This is your launch lug. These are the little ones right there. All you need is one little piece. Now, with that, you can see I just cut them. Here's what you want to do. You want to make sure that your launch lugs are nice and round. So after you cut them, you notice you'll bend the cardboard a little bit. This is what the pole goes through that you're going to slide the rocket over to actually make sure that the rocket is able to go onto the launch pad. So you'll slide your rocket down over top of the pole. The primary thing about this is you want to make sure that the launch lug is not lined up with a fin. It's got to be between fins. So in other words, if you have 2 fins like this right here, you want the launch lug to be right in the center of your rocket and going down in between. So let me go ahead and put this other rocket fin on. Go ahead and just drop this on real quick so that you guys can see this. Put my second fin on. Okay, there I have my two fins on. Let's let that secure up a little bit. Okay, and then my launch lug is going to be exactly in the middle of those two things. So, here we go. I tend to take a ruler and draw a line straight up so that I can get it centered. Again, use a good amount of glue there. The primary thing is you want to make sure that that launch lug is straight. It's got to be straight. And notice how it's in between the two fins. So it lines up right in between the two fins that we've put on there. Okay, let me go ahead and put that third fin on while I'm thinking about it so that you guys can see a completed model. Okay. Let's line this up. Okay. Oh, see what happens whenever you let it go? Now, sometimes you can use just a little piece of tape to hold your fins on to make sure that they stay straight. You don't want to do this too fast, but here's what you're looking at. We've got our three fins on, and then we have our launch lug on. Okay, we have our centering ring with our motor housing on the inside. We're good to go there. Okay, now, after you get this far, that's a little off again. You want to go ahead and kind of reseal some of this stuff and basically put another thing of super glue on it, because that'll really help. It's starting to stick to my fingers here. So teachers, you may want to have some acetone on site, or just basically nail polish. Okay. Here we go. What you can see is this is basically how we look down the tube of the rocket. You can see right there, I've got my launch lug on. I've got my centering ring in. I've got all this stuff actually done up. Okay. Now, after you do this, the next thing you want to look at doing is you now want to start working on the top half. All right. Here's what we have is we have our nylon fireproof connector. What this will do is this will connect your actual body tube to your nose cone. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take and put a little bit down inside there. You want to take and put some super glue down there, and then you want to take and put this nylon wire in there. Okay, again, you can see it's connecting to my hands. It doesn't matter where this actually goes on the inside, but what you've got there is I've connected this on the inside of the tube. Okay, so it's connected. There we go. All right, I've connected this on the inside of the tube. So now you're going to basically say, all right, I can now start to work with this. Okay, I've connected that. After you do that, oops, it just fell out, but that's because I'm going fast. After you connect it to the inside of that, what you're going to do then is go ahead and connect the same exact way on the inside here. Okay, so you're going to put a little bit of super glue down there, and you're going to connect it on the inside of the tube, or of the nose cone. Okay, after you do that, you're pretty much set. That'll be your rocket in its entirety. The only thing left we have to do is connect the two. So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to make sure all this stuff gets glued on. And after it gets glued on, then I will take and unpause the video and show you kind of like how we put the parachute on. Okay, here's what I wanted to show you. Basically what I've done here is I've completed this up. You can see how my nose cone is now connected to my actual rocket. This is a big deal because you do not want them falling independently. So what we have here is we have the nose cone connected to the rocket. We have our launch lug and our fins and motor housing on. And the last thing we have to put on is pretty much the parachute. Okay, so how do we actually go about doing the parachute here? Well, with the parachute, what you want to do is you want to take, and of course, you can cut it to any size. So with this, you can see that it is kind of like you can manipulate the size. So you want to cut it out to whatever size you want. That's kind of some research that you need to do. And then you'll notice right around the edges of each of the parachutes, you're going to see these little holes. Well, what you want to do is you want to take these and use like a hole punch, and then you're going to put these reinforcements around it. Okay? So you'll put these, you'll cut those little holes out right there, and then you'll take and put these reinforcements around it. And then you're going to go ahead and take the string and, of course, loop it through or tie it into each one of those. There's multiple pieces of string here. And then you're simply going to tie your actual parachute onto this. You're going to connect all the strings onto this. So what you end up doing is you have the parachute that's going to kind of hang like this. Okay? So it's going to hang from this, and it's going to take and connect both of these. Okay? All right. Well, after you're done doing that, then the last thing you have to do is just pack the chute. There's no big deal here. We'll actually take care of that whenever we get to the rocket site. I'll show you guys how to do that. And other than that, your rocket is pretty much done. To pack it up for transfer, all you do is you kind of push all this down in. You push your cores down in. Then you push your nose cone in. And voila, you have a complete rocket. Okay? All right. That's all there is to building a model rocket. I hope this video is helpful, and good luck.